Good morning. We are going to talk through sample number 1 that we set up yesterday. Okay, so the first thing we can see that there is growth on the blood agar plate, there is growth on the CNA, and there is growth on McConkey. So we need to look closely at our blood agar plate. So this is our blood agar plate, and this is 48 hours of incubation. So this is second day of growth, so it's going to look a little different. Okay, so we need to look very closely at our colony morphologies. How many different colony morphologies do we see? I see things that look like this. So I'm going to call that my colony number 1, and I'm going to say it is gray/white, and it is the large colony. Then I see another type of colony, so I'm going to call that number 2. So 1-1 and 1-2, and this is a beta hemolytic colony. Okay, and this again is our blood agar plate. So we have decided that we have 2 different organisms growing. So then we want to look at our CNA. This is our CNA. Okay, then let's look at these colony morphologies closely. So look at this one and look at this one, our blood agar plate, and compare. So to me, it looks like our number 2 colony is growing on CNA. So I'm going to name this is number 2. This is my beta hemolytic colony. Okay, so then I'm going to come back to that. So I think I have since it's growing on CNA, if I did a gram stain, what would it be? Most likely gram-positive cocci. Okay, so I'm going to pause. All right, now we want to look at our McConkey, and I see 1 colony morphology type growing here. So what grows on McConkey? Gram-negatives. And what else do I know about it? It's a lactose fermenter because it's pink. So what do we do? What is our first test that we do for beta hemolytic gram-positive cocci? So I'm going to blow this up for us. So here we go. Here's our blood agar plate. We're talking about this colony that is, we confirmed it's growing on CNA. So it's gram-positive. Then the first test we're going to do is catalase. And then for this one, the result was negative, remember, so no bubbles. No bubbles, negative. So then, for a gram-positive cocci that is catalase negative, what do we do next? We look at the, we look at the hemolysis pattern. And we saw that it was beta hemolytic. So since we're new at this, we thought, okay, let's do a test for group A. So we wanted to rule out group A because that's cheap and easy. And the PYR was negative. So it is not group A. So what's the next test? So we thought we would try for B. And I told you to take a loop with your Staph aureus and make a horizontal streak. So this was Staph aureus. Then I said to take a loop of your suspect beta hemolytic colony and make 1 line almost touching your Staph aureus. Then incubate at 37 degrees Celsius for 24 hours. So let's see what happened. All right. So here is the first attempt. So good job on the Staph aureus. let me label that. Good job on the Staph aureus, but there's no suspect organism. Okay, then this one was done correctly. So here's our Staph aureus. There's our streak of suspect organism. And I told you guys that this would not work. So what we had hoped to see was an increase in hemolysis in this area right here. So this was the, we did the camp test, right? This was the camp test. And these results are negative, but you did have group B. Group B was in there. That's what I put, but we do not, this test is obsolete. We don't do this anymore. But just to be fair, let's look at everybody's camp test that was set up. All right, so again, good job on the Staph aureus. And I do believe this is one streak of isolated colony that was selected properly, so good job. Then this one again, here's our Staph aureus. Here's our beta hemolytic colony. Good job picking the isolated colony. Again, good job, Staph aureus, isolated beta hemolytic colony. And here we come into the mistakes. That's a fastest way to learn. Okay, so we can tell this was going in the right direction, so good job getting the Staph aureus. But this was contaminated. So I think what we were looking for was just this right here. So I can't tell if I said that it was okay to go back and forth on this line, but I said on this line, on the perpendicular line, I wanted you to take one streak and go down almost touching. And so it looks like this person took a loop and then went back and forth, and that will not work because you contaminated this area. So that was something else that I noticed yesterday. You need to be very careful with your contamination and where you touch your loops. If you take out your loop and it touches your sleeve or something, you've contaminated it, and you could contaminate your patients. So we don't want to do that. And again, it looks like maybe the wrong colony was not selected. So good job on this. And then this, that looks like it's all Staph aureus, but maybe just mixed. So this is why isolation of colonies is key. All right, again, contamination. There might be something we were looking for in here, but again, I said don't touch, and back and forth this way was okay, but back and forth this way, not okay. All right, again, almost so close, but this shows like a very nice contamination example. So this is Staph aureus. That I can tell that's what happened because, you went and again, no, you wanted to make one line with your suspect group B. Again, contamination, so Staph aureus and then mixed. And it looks like maybe you just picked the wrong thing because I do see a gap right here. All right, again, just mixed. Okay, so let's go back to, I can add a picture. Okay, so let's go back to our culture. So we were trying to figure out the gram-positive cocci. All right, but we also had growth on McConkey, and we said it was a gram-negative lactose fermenter. And what's the first test that we do on a lactose fermenter? Oh, that's not it. We wanted to do the indole, and it was positive, right? Indole positive. So what does that mean our organism is? Organism means we have an E. coli. And that was sample number 1.